All right, so let's look at how we can use some technology to do some of the hard work for finding the five-number summary and then constructing a box plot. So I'm going to be using a TI84. So here's the data set that I'm going to be working with. These are the ages of our presidents at inauguration. They go from Washington over to Donald Trump. And I'm just going to add in, since we're in an election year, and let's say that we do uh, include Joe Biden, uh, let's say if he were to be elected in the next election. So we're going to add in 77. The reason why I'm doing this will be clear. It's uh, as we proceed. So I want to put this in my calculator. And actually, because it's a little tedious to do that, I've taken the liberty of doing that ahead. So I went to my stat menu and under the edit option, in the third list over here, I've input these data values, 42, 43, 46, 46, 47, and so forth. So those are all in list 3. You can see I'll scroll down and the last values should be, yeah, 70 and 77. So the first thing I want to do is to get my five-number summary. So I'll go to Stat, and this is a calculation. And the first option, that's 1. So these are the statistics for one variable, and my data is in list 3. I'm hitting the second key and then 3 because in blue above the 3 key is the L3, and then I'll hit enter. So I get quite a bit of information here. The information I want is actually a little further down. Here's my five-number summary. I have a minimum of 42, Q1 is 51, the median is 55, Q3 is 60, and then the max is 77. So there we go. I'm in the habit of putting those in brackets. Uh, Now let's look at how to get a box plot using the TI84. So I hit the second key and then stat plot, and I'm going to turn on my data is in L3, and I have it set up so that my third plot is in L3. Notice I have the first two turned off, the third one is turned on. So the way that I would do that is if I scroll down to 3 and hit enter, I would make sure that this on is highlighted, and you can scroll back and forth to turn that on or off. And then for the type of plot, I want this fourth option. You would just scroll through here, make sure, press enter to select. There are two box plot options. The first one will show outliers, the second one doesn't. Make sure that you have the correct list identified for your data. Mine is in L3. I'm not, rarely would I ever need to change this frequency or the marking. And now to actually display, you can hit your zoom and then option 9. And so here we see the box plot. This represents my minimum. I know that that's the value 42. The next line here is Q1, and we know that that represents 51. The center line here is the median, 55. So half of the presidents were 55 or younger, half were 55 or older. The line over here is Q3. So that's the 75th percentile. So 75% of the presidents were 60 or younger. And the right bar here, I'm sorry, the last bar here, this is what's interesting. So I know that this is an outlier, that's 77. So where does this whisker end? So that whisker ends at the largest value that's not an outlier. So in that case, I would look back to my data set. So that whisker actually ends at 70. So this is 77, this is 70, and so there's a box plot. Now, as far as the skewness goes, if I ignore the outlier, this looks roughly symmetric. Uh, there's things are a little more uh, compressed in the second quarter and third quarter. There's a little bit more spread in the first quarter and the fourth quarter, but those are roughly the same. So I'd say that without the outlier, this is roughly symmetric. Uh, it's as I said, in there are more. the inner quartile range certainly is smaller. So this middle 50% of the presidents, their age range is about the range in the bottom quarter or the top quarter. Let's actually just calculate these differences in the 5-number summary. The age range in the bottom quarter from 42 to 51, that's an age range of 9 years. But in the second quarter, there's just a range of 4, and here just a range of 5. In the top quarter, there's an age range of 7 years, and that's including, 17 years, including that outlier. Now, if we don't include the outlier, it would be what we're seeing in the box plot is a range of 10 years from 60 to 70. So I'm going to say there's a range of 10 years plus an outlier. So here we're seeing that there is a smaller range in both the second quarter and third quarter. Together, these make up the IQR, which is 9. So there's a range of 9 years separates the 75th percentile from the 25th percentile. All right, so let's stop for now, and I'll have another video which shows a side-by-side box plot with another data set or 2 data sets, and we'll see how we can, what conclusions we can draw when we have when we can compare 2 5-number summaries or 2 box plots.